I sometimes wonder if Donald Trump realizes that we are in the digital age. And when you say something into a live microphone in front of a camera or in front of a live audience, or you post something on a social media app, it's there forever. You may go back and delete it a little while later, but someone's already screenshotted it and it's going to live on. And I don't think Trump realized that over the years when he was constantly praising Project 2025, when he was having the authors and the founders out at his events and cheering them on and talking about all they were going to accomplish together. I don't think he realized just how unpopular that was with the general public and how once people started digging into it, they started pulling back from it real hard. And when they started pulling back and said, whoa, wait a minute, that's too extreme, then Trump himself began saying, oh, I know nothing about that. I've got nothing to do with Project 2025. I've never read it. I know nothing about it. And he'll go so far as to say, even Democrats knows I know nothing about it. Even Kamala Harris knows that I know nothing about it. I'm not associated with it. Well, that's bullshit, pal, because we do know you're part of Project 2025. We know that you're all for it because they love you. They pat you on the back. And as long as they do, you will do anything they ask. So you could sit here in the night all day long, and MAGA can sit in the night all day long. But unfortunately, in the digital age, we have the receipts, and we can pull up this article from the Midas Touch Network. Once again, this one was written by J.D. Wolf. Get this, folks. Pro-Trump radio host called Project 2025 the Trump Transition Project. So let's take a look at this together. During a March 2023 interview with Project 2025 director Paul Dans, pro-Trump radio host John Fredericks called Project 2025 the Trump Transition Project. Fredericks admitted that Dans couldn't say that himself, but that he could. I love how these people are always like, well, we know Trump has to lie about being associated with us, and I'm going to show you that later. But we know, he's having to lie about it. And I know this one can't say it, but I can. They're always doing this crap. So he says, joining us now is Paul Dans. He's the director of the 2025 Presidential Transition Project Heritage Foundation nickname. But I'm going to change it to the Trump Administration Transition Project because, newsflash, Trump's going to be the nominee. The race is over. I know Paul can't comment on that, so this is the Trump Transition Project, and we want MAGA people. So there they are. Right there they are together. There he is saying it out loud. This is the Trump Transition Project. Fredericks then reported that Project 2025 just released their 900-page policy manual and asked Dans how the group was preparing for a new MAGA populist administration. Paul Dans then said, I know this is radio, but I can smell the MAGA from here. Unfortunately, we've been having to smell the MAGA for a long time, and I'm telling you what, we're all sick and tired of its stench. But Trump has attempted to distance himself from Project 2025 and the group that founded it, the Heritage Foundation. Trump has several ties to those involved with Project 2025, has flown with them, and has dined with them. Dans is a former Trump official, and these comments linking Project 2025 to MAGA are not what the Trump campaign insiders want to hear right now. However, Trump allies like Fredericks knows exactly what Project 2025 was, and that's why he called it the Trump Transition Project. So, folks, he can run from this all day long, but again, we have the receipts, and here is an unearthed clip from all the way back in 2022 where he's praising the Heritage Foundation. Take a look.
The critical job of institutions such as Heritage is to lay the groundwork, and Heritage does such an incredible job at that. This is a great group, and they're going to lay the groundwork and detailed plans for exactly what our movement will do and what your movement will do when the American people give us a colossal mandate to save America. And that's coming. That's coming.
So there he was, straight up admitting and saying out loud, they will lay the groundwork for what our movement is going to do. So how can he run from it? And how can he run from this clip where Kevin Roberts admits that Donald Trump is lying, and he has to lie and distance himself from it? They're saying it right out loud, and here it is.
President Trump say this, and what you envision as being behind it tactically?
Well, I think it's the sign of a great leader who understands he's in a terrific political news cycle. He's run a really good campaign from start up to this point. And the left's mischaracterization of Project 2025 had become a liability. I think we've seen that really turn around in the last few days since that statement. So no hard feelings from any of us at Project 2025 about the statement, because we understand Trump is the standard bearer and he's making a political, tactical decision.
So they admit out loud that they know he's lying, that he just has to say that. We understand he has to say that because we're not popular. They're going ahead and saying it right out loud, and J.D. Vance is praising them. And here's a clip of him doing so.
And I want to thank especially Kevin Roberts and all of the Heritage Foundation for 50 years of incredible work on conservative policy.
So there he is thanking them for 50 years of work. He realizes they've been at it for a long time, and he also realizes now is his chance to get on the team to try to push it through the door. But I want you to take a look at this clip, and we may have looked at it before, but it's one that definitely needs to be looked at again, where he talks about how ruthless they need to be. And he goes ahead and says that part out loud. Take a look.
We have to take away from the last 10 years is that we really need to be really ruthless when it comes to the exercise of power. The challenge confronting American conservatives is that we have lost every major powerful institution in the country, except for maybe churches and religious institutions, which of course are weaker now than they've ever been. We have lost big business, we've lost finance, we've lost the culture, we've lost the academy. And if we're going to actually really affect real change in the country, it will require us completely replacing the existing ruling class with another ruling class. I say that knowing and hearing myself, it sounds really hard. It is really hard, but I don't think there's like a detent with these people. I don't think there's sort of a compromise that we're going to come with the people who currently actually control the country. Unless we overthrow them in some way, we're going to keep losing. And that's the challenge.
First of all, who uses a word like ruthless to describe something like that? He says it right out loud. We're going to have to be ruthless about it, and we're going to have to replace the current ruling class with another ruling class. He's saying it out loud. So when we say it, we're not trying to be hyperbolic when we say they're wanting to replace it with Project 2025. They're saying it right out loud. And right now, we're facing one of the worst times we've faced in a long time here on the East Coast. There is so much devastation and so much going on with all these storms. Towns that we loved have been wiped off the map, folks. It's truly one of the scariest times we've been in a long time, and my heart breaks for the surrounding counties here in Tennessee that I'm just watching, flood and so many people needing help. And right here, I think is something people really needs to pay attention to, because here is one of Project 2025 authors saying how they would shrink FEMA. So yeah, let this one sink in.
For instance, on shrinking FEMA and focusing on its mission of backing up states. People think of it as a first responder. It's not a first responder. States and localities are the first responders. FEMA is there to back them up. And if we focus them more narrowly, when they're deployed, they will do a better job. And they'll be deployed in those areas that are highest priority, highest need. So it's conservative, limited government approaches like that you'll see throughout the chapter.
So that's their plan, folks. They're saying it right out loud. And right now, with everything we're facing, we're sitting back watching so many Republican governors requesting a little socialism. Suddenly they need it. Suddenly they're wanting it. And I'm really not trying to make this moment political, but I think that it's very important that people realizes when they look around at all the devastation that's going on, that they're wanting to shrink things like FEMA. And they'll always use this, we're going to turn it back over to the states. But another thing that really annoys me to no end is when Trump will stand up and say he would let California burn to the ground before he would help Gavin Newsom. That's not the kind of country that I want to live in. I don't want a leader who cherry picks which governor that he wants to help. I want us to all come together and help one another as a country. And I have no problem with setting my political differences aside and helping the surrounding area to get back on its feet. I'm not going to be earlier when a neighbor helped me get down the road. We didn't have a political argument. We didn't talk about it. We didn't bring it up. I didn't care who he's going to vote for, because we are all living here together and we're going through this together. But I'm simply pointing out what they are and who they are and what they plan to do. So for everybody that's like, well, I like some of Trump's policies. First of all, anyone in my neck of the woods that says that, none of his policies has ever helped you. They've only made his rich friends richer, and they've only took away rights from your wives and your daughters. So none of his policies help you. And these kind of policies that Project 2025 wants to put in on day one, and they want to completely gut the system and replace it with yes men, those policies will hurt you. And I'm sure they'll find a way to blame it all on the Democrats. But it's time everybody wakes up and realizes just what's at stake, and realizes that, you know what, the Democrats aren't the evil people that my preacher told me they were. They're reasonable people that's trying to get us to see the Antichrist right in front of our face. I'll just go ahead and say it. No, I don't personally believe in the book of Revelation or any of that stuff. I don't really believe in any of it. But if it were true and there was an Antichrist loose on this earth, his name is Donald J. Trump. And I would pretty much bet anything on that if I thought that story was true. But we've got so much going on right now, and my heart goes out to everyone in the surrounding counties, everyone on the East Coast who's been affected by the hurricane. It's been a hell of a time, and we're just going to have to work together and come together and just pull each other through this one. Mark yourself safe. Let me know you're all right. I love to check in on my listeners. I appreciate you guys tuning in each and every day and supporting what it is that I do. If you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Also, check out our memberships here on the YouTube channel. We do a lot of cool things. I do a Sunday evening show once. It'll be actually this Sunday, but well, depending on when you're watching this video. Today's Saturday the 28th, so tomorrow on the 29th at 7 p.m. if you're a YouTube member, I go live here on the channel and I just play songs that I wrote. Over on Patreon, I'm going to start doing a Brando's Jukebox Favorites show where we're going to sit and play cover tunes. So if you haven't checked out the Patreon yet, we've extended the tiers, and there will be live streams going on over there. So for those of you who I've made mad during this video, and you're like, we wish you was singing back down at the bar. Well, you can tune in on Patreon. Used to pay $5 to see me at a bar, so if you check out the Patreon, you can come check me out, and I'll be sitting here playing some tunes. So again, everybody stay safe out there, and let's hope we can get through this soon, ride this thing out. And I'm pulling for all of you. And so thank you guys so much, and have a great week.